All right, we're joined now by head coach John Becker, along with Ryan Davis and Ben Shungu. Coach, if we can maybe open up the statement, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, obviously disappointing with our season ending, but I couldn't be more proud of my team and the way they competed tonight. It just, we wish we could have shot free throws better. We wish we could have rebounded a little bit better at the end. But these guys left it all out on the court against a really, really good Arkansas team. I like to congratulate them on the win and wish them luck moving forward in the tournament. But yeah, it hurts. But as a coach, as a leader of this group of people that I had the pleasure of being around this year, I couldn't be more proud.
All right, we'll start with questions for the student athletes. John, here in the front, you can start.
Thank you. John Worrell with the Associated Press. Is for Ryan. Just as Coach put it, do you feel it looked, and do you feel as if you left everything on the court against a good defensively sound team, and scored 71 points against a team that was giving up only 64? Just your thoughts, as disappointing as this loss is, just what you left out there.
Yeah, I think, Coach said we definitely left some things out there on the table, but when, all said is done, I think that we, gave it our best shot at it, and, credit to them. They play a real tough physical defense, but, we were able to find some certain things. So, it's credit to them how hard they play on that end, but, I definitely feel like we found some confidence and were able to put on pretty tough games. So.
In the back.
Andre Robinson, Challenger Community News. This is for either player. You guys fought hard. What do you take from this loss that you can actually build on moving forward?
This was my last year, so obviously this loss is tough, but for the younger guys and for the remaining guys on the team, it just shows that we can compete with anybody. With saying that, every possession is key. You got to try to win every possession, especially with good teams like this. So it gives them courage and gives them another boost of confidence to go out there and compete with teams like this.
Back.
Jack and Simmons, WCX. Benny, obviously kind of the strategy for this team all year has been you pick and probe inside, you find your outside shots, and it seems like a lot of those were kind of falling for a little bit, but kind of maybe a little bit of a gap there in the middle of the second half. Was it just a matter of the shots weren't falling when you needed them to, or was there something that they were doing to kind of push you guys off the line a little bit?
Yeah, I think they did a good job with their pressure, with trying to limit our threes, or at least contesting them pretty heavily. Trying to get us in the two-point range and whatnot. I think some shots just didn't fall for us. There were some plays where we didn't execute. We could have done that better, but props to them again for playing as hard as they did.
Back here.
Ben, Coach Ryan, congrats on a great season. Ben, especially for you, your last season playing Vermont basketball, how do you think you're going to look back at it?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it's to the end right now. I think I'm gonna look back at it, just being grateful that Coach Becker gave me a chance, and to really just to bloom as a player, but most importantly as a person, and just creating the relationships that I have with all these guys and past guys. It's a really special place, and this basketball program is the best. So.
Ryan, what about you? How will you look back at the season? I know it's raw.
I think just, every time we stepped on that court, we enjoyed one another, and we really found just joy with how we play basketball and kind of how we function on and off the court. So that is kind of the main takeaway, just how together we worked through everything. And whenever adversity hit in the game or whatever, when things weren't going our way, we were able to bounce back because of that chemistry. So.
Up front here, a question.
This is for Ben. You guys did a good job of getting Note in foul trouble in the first half, and he was struggling, but he always seems to find a way to score in the second half. What do you think of the way he responded in the second half? And then Devo Davis, number 4 for them, came off and off the bench, had a pretty good game. What'd you think of number 4 for Arkansas?
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job with just coming off the bench and playing his role and attacking where he could attack. Kind of gave them a boost. Note, did a good job with, even though he was in foul trouble, he was able to get to the line and kind of get back to a rhythm. So, it's just a testament of them keep going, and they did a good job with that.
Go ahead.
Ben, with 9 seconds left, ball goes out of bounds. You're down by 2. Initially called it was going to be your ball. Call overturns. What was kind of going on emotionally in that, whatever it seemed like forever?
Yeah, with just a moment like that, you always obviously want it to go your way. It was turned, and that was it. And so we just had to just kind of stay ready and try to get a steal. If not a foul, then try to get back on offense and make a play.
All right. Anything else for our student athletes? Oh, one more in the front here. Oh, okay.
For Ben and Ryan, how do you think you're leaving this program? How close is it to winning in the NCAA tournament again?
I mean, I think we're as close as as can be. We're right there, and we've shown we've been able to compete with the teams like this, and we've proven that we are able to get back to here year after year, and that's something that's really hard to do. But to get over that hump is something that still we have yet to do in the recent future. But I think we're right there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential, and we are right there. Even our non-conference schedule, we can compete with these teams. So, we still got more work to do, but we're definitely right there.
All right, one more question in the front here.
Ryan, I think Arkansas hit 8 out of 10 free throws for their last 8 points. They've been a good free throw shooting team all year. But how frustrating is that when you're fouling them? You're obviously hoping they're going to miss, and they do a pretty good job of knocking them down to maintain the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just credit to them, and that's a clutch situation. Being able to knock down those free throws is huge, and obviously you're hoping for a miss, but that's their job to go knock those down, so credit to them.
All right, well, thanks, gentlemen. We'll excuse our student athletes at this time. Now we'll continue the questioning now with Coach Becker. Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone around. We'll start you in the back there, gentlemen. Go ahead.
JB, obviously, a situation like this is always really emotional. It seems like you're maybe even more emotional this time than after the last 2 NCAA tournament defeats. What's kind of going on through your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel bad for the kids, and for our program that we couldn't find a way to win tonight. And Arkansas is really good, and we knew we'd have to play near perfect basketball, and unfortunately, we didn't do that. But really, I'm just so proud of these kids and this team. It was just a pleasure to be around all year. They worked so hard. They were so good, and are so good. And it just hurts when there's just going to be a lot of guys that aren't going to be here, and just you've been with them a long time, and so, it's and like I said in the, earlier that, we came here with high expectations for ourselves, and when we haven't lost a lot of games, and so, to have your season end. For everyone but one team, it ends on a loss, and that just it hurts.
All right, in the back.
Andre Robinson, Challenger Community News. Coach Becker, even after the game, I seen you happy, astute with the fans, and it was such a class act. With guys like Ben who are done with their collegiate careers, what's the conversations that you have with athletes as they're finishing off their careers, even after?
Yeah, I mean, you're a coach for life, right? And so our relationships are just going to take a different, course. But I'm always going to be here for them, and we'll get to what's next for them. I mean, finishing schools first. We'll have plenty of opportunities to as a group to be together. Not on the court, but at dinners, and so. It doesn't feel like goodbye, at all, but it just, you know, and so the conversations will be what's best for them and what they want to do in the future and how we can help in any way.
Right in the front here. Oh, you can start. They had the microphone.
Coach, I'm just curious for your impressions of Stanley and Moody tonight and what made him a challenging cover for your guys.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him. I mean, gosh darn, he's huge. Like on tape, he didn't look that big and could really shoot it and really provide spacing for them. I thought he was really, really good and impressive, like looked like a pro, you know, and you know, he's a good player for sure.
You guys did a good job getting Note in foul trouble, and he was struggling, but he always, that's kind of his MO this year. He gets in foul trouble, and he has a big second half. So what do you think of his second half? And also Devontae Davis, number 4 for them. I think he averages like 15 points in 5 NCAA tournament games, and the rest of the games he averages about 8.
Yeah.
Just wonder
Yeah,
what's
he
up.
averaged 7 coming in, Davis, and he gave them a lot. You know, that was my fault. We should have been forcing him right everywhere. He was getting to his left hand, and he's tough in that mid-range, and he did a great job. And Nate was good, you know. And again, that was bad coaching on my part. They just kept running the same set, and you know, we didn't do a good job of keeping him to his left hand, and you know, and so he's a really good player, and you know, we weren't trying to get him in foul trouble. That's just kind of the way it went. We had 2 guys with 3 fouls. He had 3. He got his 4th. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what the deal is, right? I mean, your best players have to make plays, you know, and our best players made plays. That's why we stayed in the game, and their best player the last 10 minutes made a lot of good plays.
Ryan Davis didn't have a shot in the last 13 minutes. How much did that hurt? I know he was out. He took him out for a few minutes there, but not getting that shot in the last 13 minutes.
So the way they were guarding him, they were just staying matted to him, you know, and so we were just running middle ball screen. They were staying matted, and our guards were just coming off the screen and just getting downhill, scoring or finding guys for wide open threes. So, you know, so he was generating wide open offense for us without him touching the ball. You know, obviously, do I wish in hindsight that he could have, you know, gotten more touches? Absolutely. But they did a good job of really not letting that. But he was the reason we were generating that offense at the end. The thing is, we couldn't get any stops. We were scoring. You know, we scored way more than they usually give up, but we just couldn't get stops, and we, you know, and then when we did, we couldn't get the rebound. And again, that's a credit to them. You know, it's not, you know, we're playing above our weight class here, you know, obviously. And when you do that, you know, and this has been the story in these games, you know, Florida State were right there with 10 minutes ago, and then it's offensive rebounds that hurt us. And that's just, you know, you're dealing with just a superior athletes, a lot of them, you know, a lot of guys. And so, and they're really good at offensive rebound. We had done a good job. And you look at the numbers, I think we only gave up 8. But then we had like 2 or 3 over, like box outs where they called it on us, you know. And so there was a combination of those 2 things where we couldn't finish the defensive possession when we got them to miss, you know. And that, but I mean, they're the 15th best team in the country, and they're the 2nd best team in the SEC this year. So, but our guys fought like hell, you know. They were fighting like hell. So, I can point stuff out on a box score or whatever, but you know, they gave everything they had. So what am I? You know, I'm proud as hell of them.
Coach, over the last 6 years, you've answered and sung the praises of Ben Shungu maybe an infinite amount of times. Now that his career is officially over, how will you look back at it?
Well, I mean, just an incredible story. He'll be forever remembered in Burlington and in our community. And all the things I've ever said about him as a basketball player, we all know, the people from Burlington in this room, what a person he is. And that, to me, is the legacy that he will leave. You know, how you treat people, how you carry yourself when you're the star of anything or you're known at all. He's been a class act since day one. He's had time for everybody. He always has a smile on his face. He's always in a good mood. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? You know, I wish I could be like that.
Any other questions for Coach Becker? All right, thank you for your time, Coach.
Thanks, everyone.